Come on.
Welcome to Fethiye, everybody.
We are here in the southwest of Turkey on the coast. We've got a beautiful view from our balcony of the sea.
Amazing. Can't wait to start exploring.
We're spending 5 days here, but there is plenty to pack in.
I have a lot of dots on the map already.
And we didn't realise actually before we arrived that this is a really big holiday hotspot for a lot of British people. We're kind of excited to see what that looks like and also what all the fuss is about, why people come here. So yeah, we're excited to show you around.
The first thing to note if you're coming on holiday here is that there are two towns quite close together, Fethiye and Oludeniz, that you will probably find yourself going back and forth between a lot.
Fethiye is more like a big city with a pretty harbour and promenade you can stroll down and an old town to wander around with plenty of shops selling everything from lamps to carpets and spices to Turkish delight. It feels more traditionally Turkish but still has a gorgeous beach with incredible views of the surrounding mountains.
Oludeniz, on the other hand, is 100% catered for tourists. It's full of tour operators and pirate ships, but it's where you'll find the nicest beaches, including the world-famous Blue Lagoon with its beautiful turquoise water.
You can get buses between the two really easily, so it doesn't really matter where you stay, but we definitely enjoyed the more traditional feel of staying in Fethiye.
So one of the best things you can do here, one of the most adventurous, is to go paragliding, which is something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, and this is probably one of the best places in the world you can do it. I'm excited to try it, but I'm also a bit nervous. So what's really cool here is that they have this cable car that goes all the way to the top where the paragliders take off from. Today we are going up the cable car and we're going to go check it out, see whether it's something that we'd want to do or not.
I'm sure the views will be amazing, so even if you don't want to do paragliding, you can just come off on a cable car, and it costs 170 Turkish Lira for a round trip. So it's a really good way to get to see the view, and oh my god, it's already so beautiful. Wow, look. Oh, it's so amazing. So even if you're not into paragliding or extreme sports, then you can just do this.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. The views from the top of the cable car are stunning, and you can see for miles in all directions. You can only see the Blue Lagoon from the cable car on the way up though, but this doesn't take away from what you do get to see at the top. Then we headed over to see the paragliders in action.
What do you think?
I'm not doing it, no.
No?
It's the way I saw them, like trying to detangle these things.
I think I'll try it.
Yeah, you can go. You'll enjoy it.
It looks scary, but it's like one of the best places in the world to do it, and it's an opportunity I don't think I can pass up on. Also, I think the fact that there's so many people going at the same time, like there's just constant stream of people, it just makes you feel a little bit more secure. Would you be nervous for me?
I'll be nervous for you, I think.
I'll
I'll
be
be
nervous
waiting
for
for
me.
you down there.
Let's go see if we can get it booked. Once we got down from the cable car, everything happened very quickly. And before I knew it, I was hopping in a minivan to take me back up the mountain. I got into my harness, psyched myself up, and then I just had to... wanted to sum up the paragliding experience because didn't really get a chance. It all happened like so quickly. We booked with a company called Gravity, which were really good, pretty reasonably priced too. Stretch. You pay a little bit extra, they'll take the GoPro and they'll film you and take pictures as well, which we did. For that reason I didn't take my own GoPro because I thought they'd be filming a little bit more, but actually they didn't film all that much. They took a lot of pictures. Probably advise taking your own GoPro because I didn't get as much footage as I probably wanted to. We arrived and within like 15 minutes they were like, yeah, let's do it. And we were taking the bus up the mountain, which was pretty crazy because I didn't expect it to happen so fast. I was feeling like a little bit nervous, a little bit excited going up the mountain. But then once you got to the top, there's like so many people up there doing the paragliding that it just kind of relaxes you a little bit. You feel, you know, like it's quite normal. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's fine. Once you're in the air, you just forget about everything. It's such an amazing experience. The views are just insane. You can see why it's one of the most popular places in the world to do it. So I would like 100% recommend doing it. Even if you're feeling like a little bit scared or nervous or anxious, just try and push it to the side and do it because it's a once in a lifetime thing maybe, and it's just one of the best places to do it, honestly.
After paragliding, we headed over to the Blue Lagoon and the beach to cool off a little bit before hopping in a minibus from Oludeniz that took us over to the Butterfly Valley Viewpoint where you can get incredible views of the beach.
Pretty beautiful, no?
Oh my god, I love it. That drop during the paragliding because I'm afraid, but this is so nice.
We got back to Fethiye just in time to visit the Amyntas rock tombs at sunset. These tombs were part of the ancient Roman city of Tel Messos and are impressively carved out of the mountainside overlooking modern-day Fethiye. It's a beautiful place to come and enjoy a sunset on the Turkish Riviera.
There are many different tours you can book on in Fethiye and Oludeniz, but the most popular is a day tour to Saklikent Gorge located to the southeast of the towns. So the next day we were up early and hopped into a jeep which would take us to the gorge and a few other places. Before we arrived anywhere though, we got very wet.
Our first stop was at the ruins of the city of Tlos, an ancient Lycian city which reminded us a lot of the tombs in Fethiye. Then we hopped back in the jeeps to a place called Yaka Park for lunch. So far on this tour we have got very wet in the jeeps. We've stopped for about 5 minutes at the city of Tlos, which was very cool to see, but probably would have liked a little bit more time there. Now we've come to this really cool little restaurant that's like situated between all these different like waterfalls and streams and stuff. Loads of cool photo opportunities, so we're gonna have lunch here, and then after lunch we're gonna head up to the Saklikent Canyon, which is obviously the main reason we're doing this tour, so hopefully we get lots of time there and it's a lot of fun.
Finally, we arrived to Saklikent Gorge and made our way inside. The gorge is one of the deepest in the world with a maximum depth of 300 meters and it's 18 kilometers long. You can access the first few kilometers on foot, but be prepared to get wet feet if you want to go deeper in.
It's so cold! So cold! Made it. The gorge was really impressive and is well worth a visit, but our tour was not over yet. We made one final stop at some mud baths on the way back to Fethiye, where we got covered in mud before washing it off in the ice-cold waters of the river. Do you enjoy that? Some of these tours are definitely better than others, as you can see from this example. And then our group. Overall, this tour's been pretty fun, but we have spent a lot of time just sitting around kind of doing nothing. We definitely could have spent a little bit more time at the locations. I think it was just luck of the draw. All the tours do the same itinerary, but our tour unfortunately just spent a little bit long at the interval areas rather than just at the actual locations. But other tours look like they spent a lot more time at the locations, so it really is just the luck of whatever you get. The Saklikent Gorge was definitely the highlight, and if you can spend longer there, if you've got your own vehicle or something, then definitely hike up a little bit further because it was really special. Reminded us a lot of when we were in Crete at the gorge there. Now we're going to head back in the jeeps, head back to Fethiye, and hopefully onto our next activity. So we're here in Kayakoy, which is an old abandoned village not far outside of Oludeniz. Really easy to get to by either taxi or minibus. This town was known as Lavisi in the first quarter of the 20th century, and it was abandoned in 1923 because of population exchange here in Turkey. And it's pretty amazing, like the buildings are just in really good condition and they're just scattered all across this hilltop. It's a really unique location. Definitely worth the trip from Oludeniz or Fethiye if you're in the area. The place is really huge, more of an ancient city than a town even. Stretches all the way over here, all the way across the hillside, and all the way out over there.
So big.
I know.
Massive.
Like a city more than a town.
Bigger than my own hometown.
Yeah. Little chapel up here. I think this is the old schoolhouse. Yeah, crazy that it just gets abandoned like that. It's really like walking around the abandoned town in Hamare, the old town that we walked around in Albania. Reminds us a lot of that. People are still living here down in the bottom. All this area is just abandoned. It's really interesting.
We ended our final day in Fethiye by heading back to the beach and watching a gorgeous sunset.
Hello. This is literally all we've been doing all week, just playing with our kittens. So cute. This is probably the best Airbnb we've stayed at on this entire trip, purely because of the kittens.
Ready to go?
Don't want to leave these little ones.
They're cute.
Okay, off to Antalya.
and welcome to Antalya. We're here in the old town, we're staying here in the old town, and we're going to be exploring this morning. We've come out nice and early, very quiet.
And it's cooler as well, so it's perfect.
Yes, already we can see like Antalya is a lot prettier than Fethiye, and it's also a lot more diverse. We've been hearing a lot more like different accents since we've been here than just
Not
Brits.
just British.
But it is a very popular holiday destination, very popular with holidaymakers and backpackers, so we're excited to see what it's got in store for us.
Antalya's Old Town is a really beautiful part of the city to walk around. There are picture opportunities everywhere you look, from the gorgeous tiled streets and shuttered windows to the hanging baskets of flowers overhead.
You enter the Old Town through Hadrian's Gate, a memorial gate built in honor of the Roman Emperor Hadrian, who visited the city in 130 AD. Make sure to take in the many souvenir shops, restaurants and bars as you wander around the alleys and passageways of the old town.
Eventually, most routes will take you down to the old harbour, which is definitely one of the prettiest we've seen in the Mediterranean.
Oh wow, look at the water colour. So amazing.
So clear. So nice. This is a very appropriate sign for Turkey.
Yeah.
The cats are literally everywhere in Turkey. It's like South America was like stray dogs everywhere, whereas in Turkey it seems like it's cats everywhere. There's one here, there's one over there. I'm making my point.
Wasn't the prettiest, right? But the view is really nice. It's worth coming up.
Yeah.
Though. It's really nice.
Better than taking all the stairs.
Oh wow.
Nice.
I think it's definitely one of my favourite harbours, mainly because it's got all these beautiful mountain views around you and it's just so amazing.
I'm definitely preferring Antalya to Fethiye so far. Just the town-wise, like Fethiye is beautiful, but the old town here and the harbour is just
it's much nicer.
so pretty. Reminds us a little bit of Kotor and Montenegro. It's that kind of vibe.
We bought an Antalya card so we could use the buses around the city and then took one out of the old town towards Duden Park in the west of the city.
It took us about 30 minutes on the bus. I think it's going to be worth coming down here because we've heard there's a really cool waterfall that flows out over into the sea.
It's going to remind us of the one in Scotland when we did our Scottish road trip.
Hopefully we can see it a bit better than that one.
Yeah, exactly, because at the time the waterfall wasn't that full.
Already, it's just a nice place to come down to. It's like a pretty chill park. It's very quiet. It's definitely worth making the trip, I think.
We ended the day by walking down to the cliffs bordering Antalya's old town to watch another beautiful sunset over the Turkish Riviera.
So we just arrived to Kursunlu Nature Park. I'm probably butchering this name, so sorry about that. It's beautiful. It's just outside of Antalya. It took us about an hour to get here on public bus. You can obviously opt for a tour, but we like to make it cheap. We're here now and trying to see the waterfalls, which this nature park is very famous for. Although we read that during the summer months the waterfalls might dry out a little bit. Let's see what we can see today.
I looked at the recent pictures and there was no waterfall. We'll see.
I have hopes.
It's
for
nice.
A little dribble.
It's nice to be out of the city.
Oh
you know?
yeah, we've been in the city for way too long, so it's nice to be out in nature, and I'm sure we're going to enjoy it today.
There's definitely more water coming off it than I imagined there would be. I was expecting like nothing but like the tiniest little trickle. It's not too bad actually. And you can also come right underneath it. So you can imagine like when this is in full force, it's really cool to be behind it like this. The whole area is just gorgeous, like really, really pretty woodland, moss everywhere, green everywhere. It's beautiful.
You know what it reminds me of? This exact waterfall. It's something like in the Huasteca in Mexico. It's really beautiful here. Very peaceful as well, because there are no tall growth, which is really good. I love it.
It's just us. Definitely a nice place to spend an hour, maybe 2 hours. Got a few little trails around, a few bridges, waterfalls. There's a cafe here. Especially if you've got a car, it's a nice easy drive up from Antalya. Public transport, you can do it. Costs us less than £1 to get here. Pretty easy, straightforward, so definitely recommend coming up. We're actually doing a little bit of a triangle today. We've come up to the Kursunlu waterfalls and now we're going to go down to Perge Ancient City, which is another location just outside of Antalya that's quite popular to do as a day trip. And again, you can get from Kursunlu to there on the bus, and then hopefully we can take the tram from there all the way back to the city. Let's go catch a bus.
Oh, another ancient city. Here we are.
Perge was an ancient Greek city, which is now famous for its Roman ruins. It was also supposed to be one of the most important locations for sculpture building and sculptors in the ancient times. Probably a lot of cool artifacts were found here. And they also have a really massive theatre, which could hold like up to 15,000 people.
Which is crazy. Yeah, I can't wait to see it because we've seen quite a few on this trip already. I think there's the theme here in Turkey with these ancient ruins, all the amphitheatres.
It is also way less busy than Ephesus. Feels like we've got the entire place to ourselves.
There's only one tour bus outside, but I think because the site is so big, it won't feel as crowded. We had fun wandering around the ancient city, but the highlights were definitely the stadium and the theatre. The stadium would have been used for things like chariot races and other events, and the theatre was just as impressive as some of the others we've seen in Turkey.
Definitely a cool place to come to if you're in Antalya. Like we said, way less crowded than Ephesus.
Oh yeah, impressive.
It's really like a lot of the city, you can still see it, so you can kind of get a feel for the actual layout of the city. That brings our time here in Antalya to a close. We hope you've enjoyed coming around Fethiye and Antalya with us, and hopefully this video has given you some good ideas of what to do if you're holidaying in this area.
Yeah, but we're heading somewhere very, very exciting, a very big bucket list destination.
Massive.
So stay tuned for that video coming out very soon, and we'll see you there.
See you on the next video.
Bye.
Bye.